Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow Season 10. It's been 10 seasons of empowering small businesses such as yourself, hand-holding and guiding you along your growth journey. I'm Sunanda Jayaseelan. Tonight, we are bringing you our Leaders of Tomorrow Town Hall from Pune, talking about the electric vehicle space, what's giving wheels to the EV bandwagon, all of that being posed to a panel. We also have two special guests who are going to be joining us on the show. IDFC First Bank's Rishi Mishra, business head for vehicle loans, bringing you personal finance advice also from Meghasham Sinkar, co-founder Pentagraph.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome all of you to the Leaders of Tomorrow on the startup space. I head the vehicle loans businesses for IDFC First Bank, and when I say vehicle loans, ICE and electric, both, happens to be, important focus area for the bank. In the next few minutes, what I'll do is I'll cover a few perspectives, around the EV, around the startup space, in India, in Pune, globally, and give you that perspective. I'll quickly touch upon, some perspectives around IDFC First Bank, to introduce, our bank to you in the forum. And subsequently, we have a lot of curated products for startup. So as far as startup ecosystem globally is concerned, some numbers, for your reference. Every day there are 30 to 40 new startups, getting registered in India. One out of every 11 unicorns, being coming up, is globally is an Indian unicorn. India is poised to be the hub for unicorns, 10 years from now. By 2025, India is projected to have close to 250 unicorns. So I think, as a nation, we are all set up, for a big startup play. In fact, we are already number 3, as far as the startup ecosystem is concerned globally. We've pipped UK, recently to the number 4 space. We already have 104, unicorns, in the country. 7, coming out of Pune. Pune ranks 5th in terms of fundraise, pan-India, so, credit, to a lot of you sitting in this room. 74,000, registered startups in the company. Now 9,000 from Pune. 300 VC-funded startups, in Pune, and 500 in the space of electric vehicles. So I think some staggering numbers, indicating, towards, some great throughput, that's going to come in this space. As far as, our vision is concerned, it's largely around, the fact that we want to be a world-class bank. Ethics and customer first are going to be, the key levers around which we're going to get there. Technology is going to be a big enabler, which we intend to kind of move ahead with. See, when we look at startups, we do not look at startups, as a one size fit all kind of approach. We believe that startups need to be differentiated, products need to be curated across their growth cycle. So we have curated products, for the early startups. So, for instance, while it's a busy slide, I'll just talk about few, for you to get a sense of, how we look at, the growth cycle of a startup. So, if there is a new startup where investments haven't come, our current account has virtually no charges. It is free of all charges, for the first 3 years, because we understand, that these are early days and we need to kind of, support the startup. Similarly, we have a OD account facility, a small up to 5 lakh OD, which kind of just takes care of, check bounce situation, and very, delicate situations. So small thoughts, around, what maybe an early stage startup may need, we've curated a product, for the. Now, when we talk about a growth startup, typically the working capital for a growth startup, the threshold for traditional banks has been 100 crore investment in Series 3 funding. In our case, the threshold is 10 crore and Series A. So we are absolutely, focused in terms of what we want to deliver as a value, in terms of being able to, give better, value to the startup. Last but not the least, given that, the theme is electric vehicles and I head the the vehicle loans part of the business for the bank, I just want to give a flavor of what we are doing as far as the vehicle loans business, from the bank side. So if you look at all the, all the leading electric two-wheeler brands, be it Ola, Ather, Hero, we are clearly the market leader as far as, funding the customers. Our market share is, fairly, the market share is fairly polarized towards us for the simple reason that we were not sitting on the fence waiting, for someone to take the lead and, and get into this space. We got into this space quickly. In fact, now as we speak, we are in a stage where we've realized that maybe the top 10, 12, it's a no-brainer. Electric customer repayment is as good as the ICE. Maybe we had all those apprehensions initially, but all those seem to be, fairly unfounded. And now the challenge, which we are grappling it, and, had a couple of conversations, by the sidelines, with a couple of panel members, and what emerged as the next level of, work was, maybe the next set of smaller startups, how do we address their requirements? And challenges there are different. And maybe, during the course of the evening, we'll also talk around that. There is a lot of traction happening around the electric three-wheeler segment also. There are a lot of customers who want to deploy these for last mile connectivity, and we engage with them for funding those customer needs. There are small, medium OEMs, who want to deploy their assets, and they want finance for their customers, working capital requirements for their dealers, supply chain. I think all these are conversations we are actively engaged in, and we'll be very happy to be front runner in this space. Thank you from my side.
I'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We're bringing you personal finance advice from a personal finance expert for all you small business owners. That's coming up in just a moment. Do stay tuned. Welcome back with us here in Leaders of Tomorrow. Tonight, in this first part of the Leaders of Tomorrow Pune Townhall edition, bringing you a very special conversation with a personal finance expert. He also answered questions from our audience on what it takes to be a successful and a financially successful small business owner. Listen. Thank you for your time, and before we start picking your brains, I want for you to, if you could, introduce yourself to our audience. You come from a very rich banking background, and that's of course given you, a better grasp when you are talking personal finance. Just talk to us about your background leading up to this career move.
Okay, after working with the bank for 5 years in a wealth management space, there's a lot of opportunity in terms of unbiased approach and a long-term relationship, which was not there in banks. Started this Pentagraph in 2009, and it's been more than 13 years. Happy to share that we're managing more than 600 crores now, one of the top 10 financial or wealth management company in Pune. The only objective is to become a financial family doctor. That's an objective when we talk about personal finance, because it's more of emotions than money. So that's the objective with which we have started, and we're still continuing with it.
All right. First and foremost, I have a question for you. What is the biggest mistake, if I can call it that, really, that you see small businesses and entrepreneurs, or even just any individual making when it comes to managing their finance? What's the biggest one you see?
The biggest mistakes which we have found whenever we deal with the entrepreneurs, startups, they don't have a segregation between the business finance and the personal finance. It's all mixed. And that is very important.
Why is there no segregation, you feel, and how can it be fixed?
It's first and foremost, it's just no one is guiding them why you should have a separation between your personal finance and a business finance. And the second thing is that you're so engrossed with your business initially, you don't take care of your personal finance. Everything, whatever you want for your business to success, you put in there without realizing that some of the most important mandatory goals of a family might impact. And that's where you don't realize how much is getting burned, how much is spending, and you really don't have a track of where are you spending in terms of business, where are you spending in terms of personal. So this is one of the most which we found that the entrepreneurs are making mistakes in terms of messing the finance with the personal and the business accounts.
Now, since this is a mixed audience, if I can call it that, we have some young entrepreneurs, we have seasoned entrepreneurs, we have male entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs. Is there a thumb rule that you can, yes, everything is highly personal and customized, but a thumb rule in terms of how you should be investing? At what age in life should you be looking at what debt equity ratio? How should you be looking at that? Any advice?
So investing is, as soon as you start earning money, you should start investing. What you generally do when you earn money, you give that money, or you pay for the services, you pay for the product, you pay for the bank EMIs. All of these people are actually giving you services for that month, be it maids, be it your driver. They all are working for you. What about yourself? You've been working for you almost 25 days in a month or 30 days in a month. What about your paycheck? So they should definitely invest 10% of their earning income towards investments. So there is no age. As soon as you start earning, you should start investing. In terms of, there are certain thumb rules, but why we call it as a personal finance? It is more personal than finance. We have to understand where you are going to need money, when you're going to need money, and based on that, that equity and debt component would be decided. Of course, for any long-term goals which are beyond 7 years, 10 years, you should put money into equity. Now, that percentage may be 90%, that percentage may be 40%, because you have a short-term goals, you have medium-term goals, you have a liquidity things which have to maintain. So go by the thumb rules, then it's very standardized. They say that 100 minus your age, but at our philosophy, we say that it is totally based on you. What is your personal finance going? How it is in short term, medium, and long term, based on your outflows, you should decide the equity and debt allocations.
But enlighten me about the best practices on a credit card.
See, we are getting into an era of credit. All developed nations, we've heard so many times that people in US actually live on credits. Fortunately, India is one of the countries we have a very good saving ratios. But slowly and steadily, the younger generations are thinking about why to postpone our goals when we can do it now, when we have finances available. My father thought about owning a house at his age of 45 or 50. But nowadays, youngsters, they as soon as they get into a job within 1 or 2 years, they start for a loan. That is where your credit card history is important, or probably credit history is important. And credit card is an excellent tool where you can actually build your credit history. Because for that, you don't have to take a loan, and you still have expenses which you can do it on credit card and build that credit history. But however, you still have to keep it in mind, certain pointers, that you have to pay the bills on time and in full, because a lot of time we've seen youngsters just paying the bare minimum due amount and just carrying forward the balance. That is very harmful because it impacts the credit score negatively. There are a lot of times we are not aware about your credit utilization ratio impacts your credit score history. What does it mean? If you have a limit of 1 lakh, try to use only 30 to 40,000 a month sort of credit instead of taking it to 1 lakh every month. Once in a while, it's okay. But if you use the entire credit limit, the bank perceives as like credit hungry. This guy is not managing it well. So these are certain important points where you should remember while using the credit card.
Okay, I think we have a question right here.
Okay, so my question is, if you look at today's the younger audience, right? They're living in an era where it's all buy now, pay later.
There's a term, it's called lazy pay itself, right?
Lazy pay.
Yeah.
Yes. I think all of them are unicorns also. All those who brought this. Right? So, buy now, pay later. Don't buy a house, rent a house. Don't even buy your pillow, rent the pillow. Right? That's the era we are living in. And you're trying to tell them to save in 20 year, 30 year. Do you think, what is going to actually, what's your advice to them?
Okay, so there are two thoughts. One is Zindagi na milegi dobara. Just live your life like a king. Person has to remember one thing. Whatever you do in your life, there is something called retirement age. Someday you will feel tired, and that's the time you need to have money to take care of yourself. In fact, that's a good thing that instead of putting capital, just rent it if it is possible. Why to own a house in Pune city? You have to shell out almost 70-80 lakhs to 1 CR just to own 2 BHK, whereas the rentals are just 15 to 20,000 rupees a month. Why not to invest for your future? So the advice is whenever when you have to just do the calculation, what is more beneficial? Renting is better or owning is better? In certain cases, if you're a businessman, owning may be better because you can use it as an expenses, as a depreciation. But as an investor, individual investors, it might work better to rent and then invest the surplus for your future.
One question, can you just focus more on a CIBIL or the score? What are the things? Because banks see your application later, but first they will go and check your CIBIL and then they will make their own decision. It's like a US visa. They make their own decision. Still they will call. They will have an interview and they will say, no, I'm not going to give you visa. So on a similar note, I think banks also make their mind with the CIBIL scores. So it's more better to always improve upon your CIBIL score. So can you just focus more points on that, the CIBIL score? How do you improve it?
So as everyone aware about, the CIBIL score are very important for availing loans. In fact, nowadays, bank and financial institutions refer your credit score for an interview. It's one of the selection criteria for a job. So yes, it is very important, and the good scores definitely helps you in getting the loan faster, lower interest rates. You already mentioned about 650. So good score is about 650 and above, and if it is 750, it is excellent. In terms of improving the credit score or managing the credit score, I think you still have to follow those all rules. Pay your credit card bills on time and in full. Don't take cash. Don't use the cash option of credit card because it impacts the credit score negatively. Don't miss the EMIs. Of course, follow that credit utilization ratios, which we talked about. Try to use only 30 to 40% of your credit limit. Then try to avail different sort of loans. So there are two types of loan, unsecured loan and secured loan. So loans like personal loan, credit card, this falls under unsecured, and then home loan and car loans are under secured loan. So try to avail those things. Secondly, most of the time people are not aware they need money and they apply the loan. They apply to the loans to different banks at the same time. That also impact the credit score negatively. So these are the basic points which you have to follow to increase your credit score. It will increase only when you take a loan. Unfortunately, some people may not like it, but we are leading to that directions now. We also have to live on credit, but yeah, we follow some saving principle rules. Then we don't get trapped into credit.
Thank you so much. Out of time on tonight's conversation. If you have any feedback for us, here's how you get in touch. Our contact details on your screens as we speak. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.